Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Wednesday, August 12th. Thank you for joining us for this month. Annette, thank you for joining me. Today we have our final two unconscious coping strategies, and we're going to jump right in. No context or anything, because otherwise we won't get them done today. And we want to talk about another subject, hopefully in the middle today, but at the latest tomorrow. We were trying to get done yesterday, but we didn't, so we're going to finish up today. Our next unconscious coping strategy is being strong, being the strong one. You know those people where they always put on a tough veneer, like, yeah, they're just going to beat someone up. I don't know. I'm not the strong one, so you can tell.
No, it's not
You can
that.
tell by my attitude, I'm not the strong one, but they have this resilience. And then maybe this hardness when you can tell. I've seen people like this. It's a show. You can tell that there's something inside of them that could be very sad, has this desire to be soft, but the way life happened, this is really the Enneagram 8, where it's being tough so I protect myself.
So it's interesting that you would say they are going to beat somebody up, because I don't see it like this. I see this more very similar to being the responsible one, but the responsible one with a little bit of crust on top. They're the one who's going to take charge. Enneagram 8, yes. But I don't see it as someone who's just going to, tell people off and push their way through. It could be very strong. Enneagram 8 as well. Like, it could be the Enneagram 8 that's always showing up and is that leader, but underneath, they don't have the emotional capacity to be the leader right now. Or they don't have the emotional capacity to help everyone. And they push themselves way beyond what they have the capacity to do, but it's a blind spot, so they just run themselves ragged. They're the strong one. They're the one who can take anything. And actually, we all need support. And we all need to be seen by others. Does that make sense to you, Ada?
That's a lot better explanation. I do relate this one to the Enneagram 8. And with many 8s, one could say the bark is bigger than the bite, but the bark can be very loud and scary for everybody else.
If they're coming from their
really
wounds. Unhealthy place. I also think I could see this in the 1 and the 3, and probably the 2 also.
The 3 definitely, because they could be putting on that show of achievement. I've got it all together. Look at my outfit, look at my car, look at my house. Everything's going great for me. What about you? When inside, they could be falling apart.
Or I'm not going to allow people to see how much I may be struggling.
I can't let anyone see my weakness.
That's right. That's how that would play out. And the 1, we talked about the 1 yesterday a little bit, so don't want to get into the 1 too much, but I think when you're the one who's saying if something is right or something is wrong, you can kind of tell yourself that you're the strong one, but maybe not. Maybe that's just what you're doing, and it's a blind spot for you. Independent is the very last one we wanted to share. I've met people that, they don't need anybody. They can handle it by themselves and they're just on their own and they're fine with it. You could really see where this one has been a coping strategy or survival strategy because, well, how did they get that way? Well, they probably got that way because they didn't have some support when they really, really needed it. So they proved to themselves that they could do it. The problem would be then where it becomes a blind spot in a coping strategy. They just always think they have to do it alone. They're weak if they need support from anyone, or they're weak if they need a partner or would like to do something with people. They just think that they got to do it all by themselves. You can just see the grit. But really, we all need support and we all need one another.
I really resonate with this one. And it's not coming from, I don't want to be weak. And maybe this is why I've struggled to ask for help in the past. and sometimes in the present. I'm doing a lot better at the asking for help. It's a lot more immediate, but I still have that thing inside of me that says, well, what if there's no one around? I have to be able to do this by myself. Help would be great, but what if I get so reliant on the help that I don't know how to do it for myself? And then I'm really in a pickle.
That's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Yes, it can be. There's also some freedom in there because then, of course, I can do it by myself, but then it can get kind of lonely.
Yeah, I could see that.
The reason it's an unconscious coping strategy is because it's very compulsive inside of me. I don't plan this out. I don't have this like, I could ask for help today, but you know what? I'm going to practice doing this by myself. And if I struggle, I'll ask for help later. I don't think like that. There's just this thing inside of me that says, well, I better learn how to do this by myself because what if I don't have anyone else? That's why it's a blind spot. It doesn't actually serve me. It doesn't make my life any better or easier. That desire for independence becomes more of an anchor, not like your anchor for your word of the year, but something that weighs me down. It becomes a weight because then I'm struggling to do things by myself when if I just asked for help, it would have been done like hours before.
I could see that. So these are some examples of some coping strategies. I do want to review just quickly that these coping strategies, they become blind spots because we use them and we use them and we use them. The first few times we use them, they actually worked. They kept us safe. They helped us through. So then we think not logically, and they're compulsions typically. So we think that this is just how we show up. What Carl Jung taught, and it resonates so much with me, the whole idea of putting on a mask, because we don't realize we've picked up a mask and put it on. We are trying to survive in life, so we put on the mask as the strong one, the independent one. I don't need anybody. I can do this. That's a mask, because underneath the mask is who you really are. The strong one, the independent one, the responsible one, all those coping strategies that we talked about, they become our personality. Remember, we talked about this at the very beginning of this theme, and we develop this personality around our coping strategy. So, my personality is I'm just the one who's the helpful one. It becomes safe, but that isn't who I truly am. It's not authentic. It doesn't mean that you can't help, folks, or you can't be strong, but it's coming from your authentic self when it's not a coping strategy or a blind spot. So hopefully everyone is understanding this as we have talked about these coping strategies and blind spots. They become our personality. But remember what Robert Holden teaches, your personality is who you are when you don't show up. When you don't show up as your authentic self, what's really true for you. That's then how we develop these personalities. And we wear these masks, as Carl Jung taught. We put these different masks on and they keep us safe. But they only keep us safe for a certain amount of time. And then they start causing problems in our lives.
So for today, our intention is our final curiosity challenge for now, checking in with our unconscious coping strategies of being strong. One word that came up as Annette was sharing, some other stuff is we also may call ourselves stoic or someone else stoic. That's another example of that strong unconscious coping strategy or the unconscious coping strategy of being independent and refusing to ask for help. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.